guys, if you're new here, my name is Tessie, and today this video is more me just thinking out loud. Now of course, when I moved out here, one of the first things I encountered, one of the first things anybody would encounter is, the fact that you now have a different accent, right? And people are acting like, they can't understand your thick African accents because it's just so hard. And let me give an example. So my mom came to visit me one time, and she and I were in this store. It was a huge, store, many different departments, that sort of thing. And she was looking for skirts, right? She had picked up a skirt that was someone hung in the wrong place. So she was like, oh, they obviously have skirts, I just don't know where it is. So I was standing at the cashier, I was paying for something, right? So she walked up beside me, and mind you, so let me, paint the picture. So I'm standing at the cashier paying for my shoes. There's a white lady standing behind me, and then my mom comes up, right? And my mom is like, oh, excuse me, where can I find the skirts in this store? And the girl that's the cashier, she's like, what? And my mom is like, skirts? Where can I find the skirts? And the girl's like, I'm sorry, what? And again, my mom is like, I'm looking for the skirts. And the girl is like, I'm so sorry, what? And then my mom turns and looks at me and she's like, Tess, tell this girl how to find skirts. And then, funny enough, as my mom literally says that, the white lady that is standing behind me and I both say in unison, she's looking for skirts, right? And now this is one of those things where obviously I know that everybody has accents. I know, it's just, it may take them a second, but I feel like some situations, some people are just not really making an effort. Because why did the lady behind me understand perfectly what my mom was saying after she repeated herself 3 times, and the girl standing behind the desk, the cashier, did not understand? Anyway, I think that maybe people don't make as much of an effort as they can sometimes when it comes to accents, and I think that can depend on the color of your skin and the accents, because I feel like sometimes some of these things, I low-key feel like, if you were a German accent or a French accent or some other different accents from, European country, maybe, they may make more of an effort, they would listen, they would be present, they would just pay attention and get what you're saying. But if it's an African accent, oh no, it's so hard, oh no, it's just, oh Jesus Christ, and I was talking about this with a friend of mine, and she did make a point in favor of, okay, so I live in North America, right? So she made a point in favor of the North Americans, right? Because we're talking about how, North Americans have an accent too, and we've adjusted. So why is it so difficult for them to adjust to ours sometimes? And she made a point in their favor. She did say that, we grew up watching a lot of American TV, to be honest. A lot of people grew up watching American TV. And so we have had a good amount of time to, to understand their accent, to learn, to adjust to it, and just to hear it easily, right? That sort of thing. Whereas they have not necessarily had the same for us by the time we encountered them, right? So sometimes, depending on where you are, not everybody has encountered an African before. So it could be their first time, and even if it isn't, maybe they just haven't had enough time to adjust to it and all that kind of stuff, which is fair, I will say that. And while I understand that, I don't know what it is, but I think it's just the coconut head in me that still sometimes but if they really wanted to hear it, they would just they just pay attention small, the way they pay attention if it's a German accent or a French accent, right? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. And just in case it seems like I'm hammering a little on that one small thing, right? I'm being picky. The same thing kind of happens with names, right? So, and I know a lot of people experience this. If it's an African name, it's hard though. I'm so sorry, I can't pronounce it. Oh, I hope I didn't butcher it though, when they know fully well that they destroyed your name and your ancestors are angry. Whereas you now see that, if it's a German name or a traditional Scottish name or something that is also challenging to pronounce, they'll the reaction to the name is usually different than the reaction to your name that is African, right? And that can get annoying over time, and it's not okay, to be honest. And obviously this isn't something that everybody does, but there are people, who just will not make the effort if it's an African name, and that's not okay. And it upsets me and my homegirl sometimes. And obviously sometimes the underlying reason why is racism. Racism is alive and well in a lot of places, right? And honestly, I don't know. I don't have any sort of solution to that, because it can just be very, very frustrating. And I'll come to realize that I think this is just a rant video. Dealing with that on a daily basis and knowing that sometimes, honestly, there's really no need you opening your mouth and explaining or correcting, because come Monday morning to be the same thing. It can be very frustrating, and there's a tendency to feel like there's honestly no need you opening your mouth and explaining or correcting, because it's a lot, you know. Being a minority is not easy, and these are just some of those small things on a day-to-day basis that can be annoying and hard to deal with. These small things also are microaggressions in some situations, I think, because again, obviously I don't expect everybody to be able to say, you know, these African names when you see them. Some people genuinely are trying, but they just don't know how to say the name, which is fair, which is 100% understandable, right? If you give me some names from a country where I don't speak the language, of course I won't know how to do it. I'll do my best, but I won't know how to say it right. But I feel like some people are just racism and they like to not put any effort into saying a name or anything, which is not right. But alas, that's kind of the world we live in right now. But yeah, this is just me ranting. It's not really anything. It's just yes, racism. And again, it's not as if anybody hurt me or anything. Like, I'm okay. I didn't have any sort of, you know, bad experience over the weekend, and I'm here, you know, because of that. But I was just thinking back to that incident with my mom and the cashier in the store, where my mom literally repeated herself 3 times. The lady behind heard exactly what she said, but like, if everybody else is understanding it and you're not understanding, and you're not making enough of an effort. And again, maybe she wasn't me. Like, I'm not that poor girl. Maybe she wasn't, like, she didn't have any callous intent. It really wasn't. I don't know. I mean, maybe she did, but maybe she didn't. This is one of those things where you just never really know. Sometimes, but yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, and I know that it's hard on everybody. I mean, I do have a certain level of grace to a degree, because again, I understand if it's a name you've never seen before, how would you know how to pronounce it? If it's an accent you've never heard before, you need a second to adjust. But some people, after you've had a second, adjust. After I've taught you, try and learn. You know, don't call me something that's completely different like 2 days later after I teach it to you like 3 different times. But anyway, that's all there is for this video. There's nothing deep. It's just a little round video. Please leave a comment with your thoughts on the subject, and just enlighten the rest of us, to be honest. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say about this topic. I mean, obviously it is like there is a larger underlying conversation to it, the whole, you know, racism thing, and just a lot of other small little things here and there. But that's a headache for another day. So I will see you in the next video next week. Like and subscribe. God bless you, and thanks for watching.